Looks like we're talking about Death Kwon Do today. Now, Death Kwon Do is easily one of the most destructive martial arts within the entire whole of regular show, and has enough power to pretty much deal with any threat you can imagine. Now, in order to harness the full power of Death Kwon Do, one must continuously dedicate themselves to hair quality, as well as their own ability to acquire ripped jeans. Yeah, I'm not even joking. In order to utilize the power of Death Kwon Do, one must possess a mullet along with torn jean shorts. Once these two things are acquired, one is able to utilize the full power of Death Kwon Do, given that they were able to learn a move, and learning a move is incredibly simple. You either have to see it performed by someone or ultimately see it drawn. And as long as you're able to do the proper form, you're pretty much able to utilize the skill almost immediately with pretty much no training whatsoever, and despite the fact that you do not have to work hard for this power, it's going to allow you to pretty much body everyone. Believe it or not, there are 80 techniques when it comes to Death Kwon Do. However, we've only seen a small fraction of what it's actually capable of in the form of just a couple of attacks and defensive abilities. So let's go ahead and talk about its techniques, starting with one of the most famous, the Death Punch. The Death Punch is easily one of the most destructive abilities within Death Kwon Do, easily being able to rend flesh, bone, earth, steel, and everything else all the same. To give you an idea of just how powerful this is, when utilized to its maximum capability, Rigby, one of the weakest characters in the show, was able to tear a hole all the way to the planet's core. Not only that, but he was able to cause enough energy release that he was able to make an explosion that could be seen from space, or at the very least miles and miles away. Utilizing the Death Punch, Rigby was able to take over the entire park, including defeating all of its heavy hitters, including Muscle Man and Skips. Now, the only way you can really defeat a Death Kwon Do user is if you're a Death Kwon Do user yourself, and nothing shows us more than the fact that there's always a technique to combat another technique, and this is shown perfectly via the next technique, aka the Death Block. The Death Block, when utilized properly, is able to block theoretically any kind of death-oriented move within Death Kwon Do. It was actively shown that through the use of the Death Block, one was able to pretty much reduce these moves to basically nothing and having them have no effect whatsoever on the user. However, there is a major weakness to this ability, because remember, in order to utilize any of these moves, you have to do the proper form. You can't just really alternate it at will, meaning that this ability has incredible weakness towards things such as aerial kicks or side attacks, which is a weakness that we actively see when the duo were fighting the Grand Master of Death Kwon Do and were losing absolutely horribly. Moving on, we got a couple of abilities that are a little lesser known or were not utilized in the show, so let's go ahead and talk about these. It's going to be a bit of a quick round because, again, they didn't really appear in the show, they were only really mentioned. First off, we have Sensei's favorite, which has been stated to be the pelvic thrust of death. There's also the Death Dump, which I do not believe anyone actually wants to talk about, so we're just going to go ahead and move on. Next up, we have the Death Jump, which actively allows you to give the illusion of flying by allowing you to jump miles into the air, but aside from that, there's really no other applications. There's also the Bicycle Kick of Death, which allows you to pretty much deflect any projectile that is sent at you as long as it's within kicking size. Now, there are other techniques, however, the vast majority of the techniques that we do know about are basically just retextures or variations of the ones that I've already talked about, so that's pretty much all I got for this video. If this video does well, expect me to talk about the Death Sandwich, the Double Deck Sandwich, the Sandwich of Life, as well as the Grand Master, as well as the Sensei. I said as well a lot of times, but again, this is the outro, so I don't really need to have all of this, put together. It's not scripted, I'm just saying things, I'm running out of breath. If you like videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. If you have an idea for a video, put it down in the comments, and if you don't want it to be buried in the comments, be sure to go to the Discord, because we actually do have a video suggestion section, as well as a theory craft, which will be transformed into future videos if I like the theory. With that being said, thanks to all my patrons on Patreon. We have Magic, Hero Brian, Lindsay, Trolley Unicorn, Abdulaziz Al Mazroa, Christopher Robinson, Christopher Alvear, Red Skeleton, the Mnemonic Sailor, Jay. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot. It helps so much in order for me to actually do anything besides Adventure Time, because these videos tend not to do as well, so thank you guys so much. Now, normally I would type each of these personally, but as we continue to grow on the Patreon, it's going to become harder and harder, so I decided to just put the image on there, because Jesus Christ, like, you realize that it starts to get out of hand the moment you get past 5 people, especially with the longer names. So thank you guys so much. If you want to become a Patreon yourself, be sure to go down to the Patreon link down in the description below. There's plenty of benefits, including Discord benefits, contact with me personally, as well as having a free video for our Cosmic Weirdos. Just to let you know though, if you are a Cosmic Weirdo and you do ask me for a video, be well aware that due to the fact that I already have a ton of videos already planned, that it's going to come, but it does take time. Anyways, I won't keep you. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.